Hey, alright, so quick review for Kiriko, Gold 4 on Havana. I hate Havana. The more I play, honestly, I just start disliking the payload maps more and more. Sabani Monastery is like the only one I really like a ton. But maybe I'm just a hater, who knows.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Let's see how it goes. Peeking,
Escort
this is just like
Prawn.
a nitpick. I do it at the beginning of every one. Peeking wide right is kind of spooky, literally just because in just about every Havana game I've ever been a part of, the Widowmaker will always just stand up in that area looking at the truck, and it'll be like whichever Widow has the fastest left click just kind of wins that duel. I don't. It's not a problem this game, obviously, because they have a Genji and an Ash. Like you're safe, but you wouldn't know that at first. Really, it doesn't matter because again, the spawn doors are right there. It's just tough to get picked like that immediately.
Keep calm, keep sly.
But yeah, now with knowing what they're playing, I mean, you're doing more or less what you're supposed to at the moment. As long as the payload's moving and nobody's like getting killed at the moment, it's all good. Unfortunately, your monkey just goes in an int. I'm not sure if he was in voice chat or not. Kiriko's really good with a monkey, but there's a caveat. The monkey needs to be communicating with you specifically, whether he's soft diving, which is to mean that he's like jumping just to get a little bit of ult charge, but he's not gonna commit to the dive. He's gonna jump, zap a little bit, leave, or if he's hard diving, where he has a target in mind that he's jumping to and he's going to commit basically everything to try to kill them. And if he's hard diving, that's when you want to kind of like TP into him, into the bubble, and then play like the monkey is, where you're like weaving in the bubble to take as little damage as possible, and then like you Suzu if you need to, and then whenever your TP comes back up, you pretty much look to get out. But if the dude's not in voice chat and stuff, especially at these lower ranks, like monkey is like not very good, honestly, and like without coordination at all, he's very very not good, even at the higher ranks. And when I say coordination, I don't mean like being in voice chat and stuff, but like in the higher ranks, if like people are aware of how they need to do things, like that can be its own form of coordination. Just like they're just aware of what they need to do, as in coordinated.
Like mending a shadow.
So I guess it's been long enough that I can kind of comment on this. As Kiriko, you can actually try to take these aggressive angles. I mean, it depends if the Halo's being moved or not, but you can try and take some aggressive duels. And then, like, if you take a little bit of damage or anything like that, just TP away, anything along those lines. So, like, let's say, I don't know, you come over here, you play behind the truck, or at least get, like, a view of someone that you might be able to take out. Normally on Havana, you're actually fighting for this space up here, but the enemy team's kind of just giving it up for free, which is cool, so you don't really have to fight over that, really. But just trying to get, like, an angle with your kunais, especially if you can just get them while Ash is scoped in looking straight down the lane. If you can get like one headshot off on her, and I mean two will kill her obviously, but just taking those trades until someone looks at you and then you can TP out. Right now the payload's kind of moving forward, it's going to be close to the corner where you're going to be taking the angle or anything, but as it moves up over here, I'm hoping to see you like notice that and try to utilize your kunais where you can just like come up in here and try and get like a cheeky pick or something like that. Whoop, wrong person. Or if you just get to be a god of hitting long range kunais, I mean that would work too.
Soothing your wounds.
But because it's a projectile, it's a fast moving projectile, but the closer you are to your target, the easier it is to hit. Like, obviously you're not going to try and run up on the tank or anything, but if you can get closer to the Ash, Ash is obviously not amazing at close range or anything. Good Suzu toss.
Just needed a dash of mischief.
But like you don't have to play as far away as you are. Like I know it's like really safe and everything. Like that's obviously fine. Like playing safe and healing and stuff. That's great. Like that's how you like that's how you support your team. You know, you heal your team or something like. But if you want to like carry your games, you have to try and look for if whenever the opportunities come up. Of course, I'm not saying just like go out of your way and just like you go into a game where you're like, oh, my team's absolute trash. I'm gonna have to deadlift this game like first thing off the rip. Like you try to give your team like the benefit of the doubt at first a little bit. But as Kiriko specifically, you just have two abilities that say get out of jail free essentially. So like if you can just get a flank off. And as long as you're within, what is it, 25 meters of somebody, like your teammate, you can just TP out at any time it gets scary. So, like, now that the point's been capped, you can totally just start looking for, like, if you wrapped around here while the Cassidy's, like, not looking, boom, boom, dead, TP out. Or, like, he throws the grenade at you or whatever. Basically, as soon as you take more than half of your health, you can, like, Suzy yourself if you think you can use that time to kill them. Or just Suzy yourself to get out, or just TP out if you think you can just TP out, because you get invincibility frames on TP as well.
Be careful, Shimaba.
Here you're kind of LOSing the monkey a little bit, but they have a mercy pocket, so it's really not a big deal at all. It was literally just the Genji trying his best. Like right here, you don't need 3 on the payload. I would try and look for just a little bit of aggression, until people start moving specifically. Yeah, like on that Cass. Like if you could have just got that one hit on him, probably would have made all the difference. Like here's fine. Again, if you're like, there's tons of ways to play Kiriko. None of them are particularly wrong. That's the first time I've seen you use your TP, and it just happened to be. I mean, I don't have to like. I'm not gonna harp on it or anything. I'm sure you noticed as soon as it happens, you're like, damn, I shouldn't have TP'd there. Like, cause you just TP to a Reaper that's wraithing. You can just hop down from where you were standing and just be where he's going to be, and then start healing it from there, and then he'd be a lot better. You probably wouldn't have to have died for it because like he wasn't gonna take damage anyway. But I mean, I know it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I gotta save my teammate and stuff. But yeah, just try to be aware of who you're going to and whether they have like defensive cooldowns like that where you don't need to use your cooldown to put yourself in danger.
Look at that! I'm back.
You got rebot, that's good. But yeah, you're just trying to take these, from what I've noticed so far this early, it's just like you're just trying really hard to, like it's good that you're throwing the kunais, don't get me wrong. Like a lot of Kirikos I've seen are just holding down their, well I have heal on right click, they're just holding down heal without ever throwing kunais ever. I at least like the fact that you're trying to hit them. You're just so far away, it's really hard for you to hit them. So, again, I'd like you to try to take these, like, sneaky flanks to just try to get the free hits on people,
Like mending a shadow.
Like, if right now you could just, like, wall climb and get, like, just a totally level hit on people. Like, if you're up on this high ground up here, especially while they're just playing on the stairs and stuff. If you can play on a level where it's way easier for you to just hit shots, that works too. Just like wall climb up here, walk over to this side. You can play on this barrel even, and just like hit the Ana while she's scoping. Just like bam, bam, take her out of the fight completely. They don't have a mercy or anything, right? There's not a lot you can do about that. Also, your Reaper is being real silly by ulting after everyone's dead. That's
Done playing around.
I'm sure you don't appreciate that. I like what you're doing here. Like this, awesome, great. That's kind of what I mean. Like you caught him lacking to the point where he had to get the heck out of there. He was gonna die. I think this ult was pretty good. Just the fact that they have that Genji going hard right now is scary, obviously, but he really didn't get anything done, and he got nice hit, great. You seem pretty confident with your kunais. I just think you're making it harder than it needs to be to hit those headshots just from playing so far away. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, if your team is being aggressive, let me just like to qualify what I'm saying, I guess. If your team is being aggressive, that's not necessarily the best time to go on these like around the world flanks and stuff. But because of the fact that you have TP and Suzu and stuff, as long as you're like checking on your team while you're taking the flanks, like every once in a while, just like taking a quick look, or you're only going to be gone like 5, 7 seconds at most. Because if you're taking a flank and throwing the kunais at somebody, you're not going to throw more than like 5 or 6 of them because at that point it's getting really scary that other people are going to come after you. So like, your team is fine. You're not trying to take a flank in the middle of like a 4v5 team fight or anything like that. I'm not saying like abandon your team to go on these flanks. I'm just saying look for the opportunities to take those opening flank picks, and then if things go sour, just TP to your team. You haven't used your TP for like anything else really. You know what I mean? Like you got a whole kit that you can take advantage of, and I think that's the best way you could probably take advantage of it since the monkey's not really coordinating with you for TP dives. Like this is good. Like you were aware of the fact that there is an enemy, and you turn and you take care of it and you get it capped off. Like I think that's great. You're in a position where both you could help your team and also prevent the enemy team from walking through that choke. And now point 3. We're gonna have to play this one by ear because I'm not entirely sure how, as Kiriko, you're supposed to push point 3, but point 3 on Havana is just the worst of all time. If you watch any content creators on YouTube or anything, they complain about Havana point 3 like all the time, right? Your monkey was very ambitious there to just jump in the air with a high noon going. Someone should be on the payload right now. I'm sure you're just like distracted by it, just so it doesn't, because it's backing up at the moment. You just don't want it to be backing up. Like I'm obviously not gonna fault you for that. They respawned and they got it, so it didn't move back far or anything. It's not moving again. That's unfortunate. I think you may have had notes about this. Maybe. I mean, you really didn't miss out on like a ton of movement, but any movement's movement, right? So. I do want to back up a second there, just because I want to confirm something before I say anything. So just back up a bit here. Okay, so Suzu. Okay, you Suzu the purple. There's nothing really you could think about that. Like, that's a good use of Suzu. It's just unfortunate that the Nano Orisa goes off there. Because given correct timing, you can, like, prevent it from taking somebody out, but I think using it there when you did was the right thing, was the right call. You didn't use your ult there. That's great. That sounds sarcastic, but like the fight was lost, and I'm glad you didn't press your ult when you heard the other Kiriko ult. Like that's really good. Like that means a lot.
Be careful.
So I guess just because of the stalemate and everything that's going on, the way that I personally would want to try and do things, if we're not going to try and set up these like forced fights or anything, is I would try and like come down here and see if I can't wall climb into a pick. You know what I mean? Just like come down here, come over here. Yeah, try and stay out of vision for most of it, and then like wall climb up and see what I could probably get. Maybe not right here, because there is like a whole backside you can go to as well. But like my idea would be, since everyone's trying to brute force it, honestly, and you're on Sigma now, so you don't even have like monkey backup or anything, I'm really not sure exactly what I would say or exactly what I would do, because I would want to, once I know where the tracer rounds from Anna's gun are coming from, I'm going to try and sneak up on her and take her out, because Anna is the quote main healer of their team. Like, she's the one who's putting out the most healing, I guess. Not to use like correct Overwatch terminology, but if you as Kiriko can take out the Ana, the other Kiriko is not going to put out the same amount of healing that the Ana is going to put out, and her and hopefully with that pick you'd be able to make things fall apart. You know what I mean? Let's get back to you.
Let the kitsune guide you. Let me balance you out.
I mean, this looks good so far. Yeah, yeah. Wall climb, good, good. You're doing exactly what I said. That was awesome. You helped to confirm. You helped to confirm that the Ana was gonna die. That is unfortunate. Oh,
My gift to you.
oh, that was such an unfortunate turn. I hate Havana, man. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, you should just be looking to bail at this point. Yeah.
I'm with you. Let me fix you.
60 seconds.
Thanks for the heal.
It's just one of those things. That was really unfortunate. I don't really. I don't know what happened there, but I really don't blame you on that one. Honestly, it was just got like it got too aggressive, and then the Sigma ult got cleansed, and then there was a high noon and everything. Like that's rough. Your Sigma's being way too aggressive right now. Honestly, Sigma's not really a hero that takes space and by like just running into people. He takes space with his damage, his poke. I would be looking to Suzu myself. Oh lord, that is so scary. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's okay. Like I said, Havana third point is like notoriously terrible.
Team kill.
That was really scary at the end, waiting on the Suzu to happen. But I mean, it really didn't make a huge difference anyway.
To 2.
But yeah, so
Sides.
really the biggest thing that I would say is just like trying to take those like picks into your own hands. Again, not ignoring your team or anything, but like so you're on what defense now? Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I thought it was anything different. So on defense is Kiriko.
Ready for battle.
This is a whole different game, honestly, because of the fact that you have so much play. So let me just move up in the air here and pull out the old pencil tool to talk about some stuff. Let's see if I can actually make this a little bit faster somehow. Oh, is there a move speed? Oh, fuck. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So, specifically here, as Kiriko, being up where you are is fine, but as long as you have people in this general area right here, you can go inside of this house, push the backside here, and they're almost everyone's gonna so basically everybody's gonna come out of here, go here, and then like try and move up this lane. If you go as Kiriko, go back here and play in this little bush area, you can get so much free damage and picks while they're not paying attention. And the higher elos and stuff, a Kiriko that knows how to do this stuff effectively is literally the most annoying piece of in the entire world. Because you'll be so focused on what's going on in front of you, you'll get headshot by a Kiriko, and before you can really even think to use your abilities to save you, she's already killed you. And then the rest of your team like looks at her because you're in voice comm like, "There's a Kiriko behind us. There's a Kiriko behind us," and she says, "Sayonara," and TP's out to the safety of her team right here. And what does she do? She TP's back. She heals up her team whatever little bit of damage that they got off, and she goes right back to it. Like that's literally the cycle of Kiriko, specifically on defense, especially on this map. You just start going places, you try to get an assassination off. If you do, awesome. Maybe look for another one. If people start looking at you, TP away. Simple as that. And then like if they start to expect you for coming from this direction, whatever, dude, switch it up. Go this way. Literally come out the other side. And you always just have an escape route every single time. I don't know what I'm going to see. I hope you do some variation of this, or at least something close to it, because that would be just sick, honestly. But let's see. Holding this high ground by default is also good, just because it's really strong. Which is why I was like, well, the fact that the enemy team like just gave it up for free was so strange.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Because normally in
1.
other games, that's like, that's where the
Attackers
snipers
incoming.
and a support or someone is posted up.
Stop the
Holding
damage.
spawn doors here is also not bad. This is more theory stuff. Holding up close is not bad, just because as long as the payload doesn't make it to like right up in this area, like as long as the payload doesn't make it all the way up here to where like right this lamppost is or about, and you lose a team. Let's say you lose a team fight and the payload's like right here. Uh, your entire team will have enough time to come back from spawn and like guarantee another team fight. So I really don't mind holding close on this map either, because again, if you just wait for it to come up to here, you're not gonna get another team fight anyway. They're just gonna cap.
Draw strength from nature.
Again, I don't necessarily mind what you're doing. It's just like it's really hard to get kunai value unless you're just like the projectile god, right? That's rough. I don't necessarily like your positioning either, just because it's double sniper, and you're standing like literally on top of, I don't even know what this is, a mailbox or something, a newsstand maybe, a ticket booth, whatever. You're standing at a place with no cover. Uh, it probably would have just been better to play on right here if you were gonna do that, or yeah, pretty much right here or on the back side of it, just anywhere where you're not completely exposed. I mean, it obviously didn't punish you at all. This is just total nitpick, but yeah. Gotta be careful with your Suzu. Now that it's such a long cooldown, it feels terrible to whiff it. Yeah, right there. I don't think there was much that you could possibly do. There's nobody coming back from spawn close enough for you to TP to. But what I would have liked to have seen is, instead of you just like staring at your Mei, you like look towards the spawn doors just in case there's someone walking back from spawn who's close enough that you could TP to. That would have been a way that you could have gotten out. Uh, I don't think it would have made a difference in that case. Like, I'm not going to pull out the tape measure or whatever and see how close the Mercy is as compared to whomever, but it's pretty dang close. Like, you may have been able to TP to her and save yourself. Let's fast forward a bit. Back on the monkey. So like here, it probably would have been good for you. It would be good for you to TP to your monkey or something like that, you know? The Suzu was kind of wasted. Your monkey probably needs it, or probably could have used it. It's fine. This is tough. That's a good shot. Like, you're much better with the kunais up close. So again, it's more just like putting the game more in your hands. Like, trying to take some more agency to like carry the game as Kiriko. Like, I played a game of Kiriko in Masters earlier where the Kiriko had more limbs than my DPS did. They had 23 limbs on Shambali as Kiriko. They had 23 limbs and like 4 deaths across an entire game. And it was crazy. Because they weren't trolling either, obviously. That is like, I just think that's the right way to play Kiriko, is to play this like assassin flank style. As long as you're not like leaving your team to die or whatever constantly. Using this assassin flank Kiriko style, because she's broken, honestly. Like, Kunai's doing 120 on a headshot is insane, mixed with your 2 ways of saving yourself. Just nuts. Just the amount of pressure that you put on an enemy's backline and then like relieve from your front line is just very, very strong. And like, I think that's really what's missing, honestly. Like, you seem confident with what you need to do. You're just not putting yourself in the position to try it. And the worst part is that like, after you watch this video, I feel like you're going to go out and try it, and you're gonna have some like, you're not gonna have like the best results, and that's normal. I want you to understand that that's totally normal to take an entirely new playstyle and not see success with it immediately, because you're having to change up like your whole game. You're having to consciously think about the decisions that you're making, as versus before when it was like pretty much automatic, But I think you'll see after like a few games, like if you need to play quick play games or something like that just to try it out, totally go for it. But just try and find those pick angles as Kiriko, where you can go in, get some shots, and get out. Especially if you can turn them into kills. Like, ideally, you turn it, you get a kill, you TP out, you heal your team up, you go do it. You just do it again. It's like a whole cycle. You go in, you get a pick, you get out. Go in, you get a pick, or you distract, or whatever, you know. And when people look at you, you get out. But like, I think that's the key to like playing Kiriko and as like a carry. You know what I mean? I'm gonna watch a little bit more, but I think I think it's pretty much covered with everything that I've been said. I have said.
Freeze! Don't move!
And obviously, yeah, I think it's good that you're not ulting this, especially whenever the enemy team is committing ults. I like the spam. I like the crouch spam. You really don't see a lot of like gold and below players doing any kind of implementing any kind of crouching, especially when they're taking duels like that. But it's great to see that you're doing that. Like, big props to that, honestly. This is just unfortunate. You should probably be looking to try and die on the point right now. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're not prolonging your death, I think it's fine. Like, that's super lost. You just want to get a full reset off, and I think you are.
Done playing around.
You said your ult usage here was bad, so I kind of want to see.
What's up? Restoring balance. Let the kitsune guide you.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So, I guess just general Kiriko ult usage is like using it in rooms like this sucks. Sometimes you don't have a choice, but using it over here would have been a lot better. The way that you typically want to use the Kiriko ult is you start the Kiriko ult at your team and you end it somewhere in the middle of the enemy team or like towards their back line. But in places where it's like your team can play at the range that they want to play. Because like imagine you still had a Reaper or whatever. Like obviously the Reaper wants to play way over here in like the enemy team, whereas like a Hanzo or a soldier is more comfortable playing further away. Just stuff like that. That's just general idea. But yeah, using your ult over here or even just trying to come down and around over here and then like getting a better angle on it would have been good, but I mean, obviously you're trying to take the point, so or save the point, so I don't, use that against you or anything. But I am gonna call it on this one. I'm actually just gonna go into the practice range for like a second or two, just to show you what I mean specifically by like this play style. Also, I use kunai on left click and heal on right click. It just makes it way easier muscle memory wise for healing instead of healing versus shooting. Also, the only other special thing that I use is I have healing of Fuda cancels reload. I actually turn that off. I'm not sure why it's on right now. Basically, if you're reloading your kunais, you can't cancel. You can't cancel it basically because that's like one of the most annoying things ever. So that's your team. This is you taking a flank right now. So like you got this guy unaware. Boom, boom, you got him. Obviously your team's not going to spawn with like 20 health or whatever, but you TP back to your team. Heal them back up, relieve whatever pressure's on them. And then you go. You go back to that angle, You just try to get that value again. TP back to your team. Heal them up, Do whatever you need to do. Take the pressure off of them, blah, 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 whatever you got to do.
You were being rude.
And then you go back on that flank. This is you carrying right now. You're carrying. Boom. Alright, you got what you needed to do. Back to your team. This is essentially what I'm trying to say. This is how you carry as like a support, specifically Kiriko. You just look for those you look for the picks. You rotate back to your team. You heal them because you're not trolling. And then you go back and you look for those assassinations again. But you seemed pretty comfortable with the kunais. You just weren't close enough to like make the shots easy. So I think if you try this out, you'll find a lot of success.